turn to
high ball 3, full count,
for advice about life.
JD is always a very low-key man. He's the last person in the world that would know how important he's been in the community.
hello, Jeff.
So on his last day as their school bus driver, they gathered to thank him for his dedication. J.D. Collins, they say, is among the most respected men in the county. A quiet, gentle, and loving man, and their school bus driver for 50 years.
For 50 years of driving a school bus, for dedicating your life to the safety of Powell Valley R1 school children, we want to give this to J.D.
I don't know what we're going to do without him.
Thank you very much.
It's going to be tough to fill his shoes.
I think everybody out miss you.
It's been my life for 50 years. It'll be hard.
See JD.
Because I love kids.
Bye JD.
Bye-bye.
So that's all I know.
Bye JD.
Bye-bye, Eddie. Keep up that good ball playing.
Thanks.
There's a lot of people that think an awful lot of you.
Well, I hope so. I'm proud of that. Bye-bye.
I miss you. Bye JD.
I do think I've made a lot of friends.
Thank you. Thank you. JD wanted me to tell you that he's still umpiring a few ball games, tending to his calves on his farm, and listening to kids to this day telling him, "I wish you were our school bus driver, JD."
Thank you so much, Ed. Well, for a time in the 1990s, unfortunately, Ed was snatched away from KY3, but the Ozark Life series lived on through the work of Kent Boyd. Here's a bit of one of Kent Boyd's more than 300 Ozark Life contributions.
Timber is still big business, and no one knows that better than Bob Tabor. But when it comes to being modern, Bob has a firmly held belief. Sometimes the old way is the better way.
Come in here.
Most loggers drag the timber out with heavy machinery. Trouble is, that tears up the woods.
Easy, Tobin. Well, I'd say with the mule and horse logging, you won't have a 5% damage. Where with the heavy equipment, I'd say you'll have from 40 to 60% damage. We could double our money every day if we wanted to. But we just do enough to try to have a good living and just let the rest of the world hurry on.
Well, those mules also carried off Kent Boyd. Ed returned to KY3 from Denver to produce many more memorable Ozark Life moments until
The lure of exotic places and more untold stories, and a chance to work for National Geographic Television. Currently, I'm a freelance video correspondent for the National Geographic Channel, and I like to go to exotic, far-off places with great people like the Ozarks. I've already done a half dozen stories for National Geographic here in the Ozarks. They loved them.
Very good, Ed. Well, with Ed gone and Kent gone, the responsibility of carrying on the Ozark Life tradition fell on the shoulders of a young man with great promise as a reporter and a keen sense of storytelling. But since that man was not available, they asked me to do it. One of my first Ozark Life assignments was to go in search of the legendary and elusive fainting goat.
You're just doing something and you turn around a corner and suddenly all the goats just fall over.
It sounds like one of those myths.
It does sound like it until you see them faint.
To see it for ourselves, we went to, of all places, Liars Lake in Christian County. The Liars Lake Ranch claims to have a herd of fainting goats in the woods, a room of future fainters, and a potential fainter in a pen.
That one right there.
Cindy Darling insists they exist.
They get stiff-legged, and if they happen to be moving, they'll fall over. They don't actually lose consciousness.
Just scare them, and they fall over. This we have to see.
This is a fact.
Ranch hands Bruce and Bill round up the herd.
Yeah. Ha, ha, ha. Hey, 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 hey.
After a frightening amount of work, it's time for the big scare. But no goats go down.
Let's go to plan B.
What's plan B?
What's Bill gonna do?
Bill's gonna shoot the gun. I'm gonna bring him out of here, and they should run straight off this way.
One goat did go down, but it looked much more like a trip than a faint. Luckily, one stayed behind, so we have another shot at it.
And he's coming out of the chute.
Now we're getting desperate.
Snake!
And beginning to believe we know how Liar's Lake got its name.
They do faint, I'll guarantee you.
Bruce claims these goats have simply been running around too much to faint. The last desperate attempt is a sneak attack on the goat in the pen.
1, 2, 3, go. There you go. Hey! See, you got one right there.
After a half a day's work, a goat finally faints. It's funny, right?
Well, you know, we don't like to emphasize the funniness of it because it's a rare breed and people raise them and they raise them very seriously. Yes, it's funny. It's just one of nature's little foibles.
The fainting goats also wanted me to tell you all hi.
You know, Jerry and I were talking before the show. Between the three of us, we think we've probably done 1,000, maybe 2,000 Ozark Life stories. Sooner or later, we're going to get to you and to you and to you.
We're coming.
We're coming. We're going to get you.
Stay near the phone. That's Ozark Life. Back to Man with the Mic and Steve Grant. Steve?
Looking over our crowd of our special guests, which plenty of you probably here remember Man with a Mic, and you remember what the very last thing was on that show? What was it? You don't. The Secret Silhouette. A product that has been or is being advertised on KY3. Here's a hint. It is not the shotgun shells fired at fainting goats. Anybody want to take a guess what this is? Just shout it out. Just shout it out. We don't care. Yeah. Were you ever watching it while Mind the Mic was on? Thank you. It was what?
Colonial bread.
No, Colonial bread, maybe. That was the giveaway in the grocery bag. One guest to a very red-faced Chuck Hessington thought that it might have been a box of feminine hygiene products. That was one of the unmentionables in those days. The man who knows the answer is sitting right here. You'll see a lot more of Fred later, but Fred, let's tell him the story. Fred was the executive producer. The very last Secret Silhouette was...
Well, there's been some controversy on that. but whatever it was, I'm glad to forget it.
Okay.
Because in those days, you'd forget that as fast as you could, and even stumbled Chuck Hessington.
Yeah.
He wouldn't say it out loud.
But, we settled on Kleenex?
Well, I settled on Kleenex, but Steve Woodall, who has a much better memory than mine, he says it was Chesterfield cigarettes. So...
one of the great mysteries of life.
Yes, we'll leave it that way.
We'll see you later, Fred. Thank you for the help. And thank you all for watching Man with a Mic. We'll be back with more of 50 years of memories on KY3 TV. Stay tuned.
Coming up, laugh with us as we look back at 50 years of KY3 commercials.
When I started here 20 years ago, most of the people who worked here were people who were born and raised in these hills and valleys of the Ozarks. They had a real connection with what the soul of the Ozarks was all about. In fact, Tom Dye once told me, and I'm going to steal one of his phrases, he told me once that he always viewed KY3 as the keeper of the soul of the Ozarks. It's an institution that's a lot bigger than me and everyone else that works here.
Another hot day, you better wear something short sleeve.
Oh, thank you.
You better wear something short sleeve. Give me that.
What am I going to wear today?
I just had to do one, you know.
Please welcome to the stage Chief Meteorologist Ron Hurst and former KY3 announcer and weatherman Fred Miller.
Well, good evening, Fred. You're looking dapper there, buddy.
Well, thank you. It's good to be dapper in here. I bet a lot of you guys are saying, well, there, those partly cloudy guys are.
We need to thank the lady over there that always watches for the weather, too. She kept us employed.
We love her.
Yes, we do. But I tell you, every KY3 reporter and anchor and announcer knows that it's just an honor and a privilege to be invited into all of your homes every day. But, we just can't do that alone.
Absolutely. And now we're talking about folks who paid all, for our sponsors. Things like Doppler radar, also closed captioning, KY3 for kids, the presentation of the SMS basketball, a direct result of sponsors' commitment.
And you can't have sponsors without commercials.
Absolutely. So settle back, folks, and enjoy the preview of the last 50 years of advertising on KY3.
Now, Fred, we're going to start in the 50s, and I want you to watch very carefully because you show up in some of these.
Okay, I'll watch.
KY3's partnership with our sponsors and their advertising agency started way back in the 50s and has been going strong ever since. Whether it's in conjunction with the area's many creative ad agencies or originating with our own talented producers, the result has been many fond memories.
Hi, I know good craftsmanship when I see it.
O'Reilly means automotive.
Sometimes funny.
Glad I didn't do that in the house.
Really? Woo, French silk. Lemon for free. Strawberries.
Sometimes thoughtful.
Are the stars in heaven?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's where we go when we die, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Time to slow things down a bit? To recapture the innocence and hope the years have stolen? Is it time to think less about time and more about eternity?
King comfort me.
And you learn to expect the unexpected. This announcer had no idea that the customer behind him was going to really try out the merchandise.
Low overhead and volume purchasing, you can save year-round. 5117 South Campbell.
Occasionally, you'd see some familiar KY3 faces in the act.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the amazing Gas Snack, the magnificent.
May your nearsighted uncle get a swine flu shot and fall in love with a boneless picnic ham.
Gas Snack, here's the last one.
May your sister eat a pound of pizza dough and sit in a warm place for an hour.
Most dependable and long-lasting.
Empire gas.
Wrong. Red Miller's weather forecast. What should you do when your pilot goes out?
Order Empire gas.
No, fly the plane yourself.
Empire gas.
Commercial personalities can even become mini celebrities.
Where it's fun to buy a car.
Hey, Toontime girl, I hear that noontime is Toontime.
Rent it, lease it, buy it.
So make your next mattress purchase a no-hassle experience.
So listen to 105.9.
In today's world of sophisticated audiences and more viewing choices, advertisers are working harder than ever to earn your attention. And more often than not, KY3 has been their #1 choice to reach you. We put the area's largest, best-equipped production team to work, and good things just seem to happen. Those were absolutely fantastic. How in the world did you get by doing live commercials?
It takes fortitude. You never know what's going to happen. That's the main thing.
Anything really scare you doing live commercials?
I think if you were going to advertise something and you went over to it live and it wasn't there was one thing. Then, too, of course, the hurry-up signal, that was always a bad one to get you distracted, really.
Well, a lot of folks in the audience out here, Fred, have never, ever seen a live commercial take place. And tonight we thought, well, wouldn't it be great if we actually gave it a try to do a live commercial?
That's right. Could I go back for just a moment? 1967. Promoted was a Wesselmobile. Did anybody ever hear of that? Sure, some of you did. Remember. Yes, it was promoted with teasers for a long time. Finally, the day arrived. The camera came on. It was a strange-looking silhouette. It looked a little bit like a car, but there was sort of a hump on top. The sheet was pulled back, and it was Don Wessel on top of his latest Oldsmobile, the Wesselmobile.
So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, our live commercial, Mr. Don Wessel.
I am the real live Don Wessel, and I've been selling fine cars in Springfield since 1966. And here's something I do believe. There is no finer car in the cue card. There is no finer car than today's new Accord. Just look at it. It's really fun to drive, and we've got lots and lots of other great Honda cars to show you. SUVs like the Pilot and the CR-V and that crazy new Element. The Odyssey minivan, the popular Civic, and the fuel economy champ, the all-new Hybrid. They're all great cars, and we're grateful for your support since 1966. That's it.
Here's the clue. This station is #1 in the Ozarks, celebrating their golden anniversary.
That's easy. What's KY3?
Congratulations, KY3, on 50 great years of dedication to the Ozarks. KY3 is the place to be.
Welcome back, KY3 Sports Director Ned Reynolds.
Melissa, thank you. And we are delighted that you are all with us this evening. During the years, KY3 has always had a commitment to the spiritual well-being of everyone in the Ozarks. We've also had a commitment to the presentation of burgeoning young talent. We've done this through the KY3 talent show at the Ozark Empire Fair, and we have produced any number of individuals who've gone on to much bigger and better things. You're about to meet a group right now on its way, folks. This is an a cappella group from SMS. They call themselves Well Sung. Let's have a big welcome for them, if you will.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun. We've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun.
Now, once again, Lisa Rose, joined by weekend anchor Kara Conley.
I don't know about you,
but I feel lifted up to heaven right now after that, don't you? What a wonderfully talented group.
So talented. So talented.
Time to come back down because somebody's got to get back to work tonight.
You know how that is. You were a weekend anchor.
I was there, and we're so glad to have you there now.
Oh, well, thank you. You know, Lisa, one of the first things I noticed when I moved to the Ozarks was the incredible strength and caring, really, of all of you guys, all the people that live here in the Ozarks.
I have always been amazed at how people open up their homes and their hearts and share their stories with us. It's just been wonderful.
And one of the best things about this job is that we get to meet so many of these people and tell their wonderful and inspirational stories. But sometimes it's not enough just to meet the people and tell their stories. You want to be a part of the magic as well. And one of the things that makes me most proud of being part of the KY3 family is showing how much KY3 cares.
Neighbors helping neighbors, a tradition that runs deep in the Ozarks. A tradition that couldn't be overlooked when KY3 went on the air 50 years ago. A purpose that continues to drive KY3 today, changing lives and maybe even saving lives.
I was scared that I was gonna die.
One of KY3's biggest projects, the yearly Children's Miracle Network Telethon, raising hundreds of thousands of dollars, and all of it stays in the Ozarks.
There are kids out there who need help and families that, need the help.
KY3's telethon tradition goes back 30 years to the Cerebral Palsy telethon. In 1972, nobody won the last man with a mic jackpot. So KY3 gave the $5,600 to Springfield's handicapped children charities. That donation developed into the Cerebral Palsy telethon that KY3 aired for more than a decade. In 1986, KY3 began its partnership with the Children's Miracle Network. 17 years later, children living full lives proves it's a success. For some people, KY3 Cares reaches them not when their lives need saving, but when they need changing. KY3 in the Kitchen help needy families set up house. Fresh Start gives them the basics as they get back on their feet. The program relies on the people of the Ozarks for donations of used items. Suzanne Ferreira says the program gave her young family a place to finally call home.
I would love to meet some of them, to see them face to face, to really say thanks.
At this time, I would like the thanks go to ordinary people who give of themselves. With the Red Cross, KY3 recognizes everyday heroes each year. People around the Ozarks also become heroes every day, helping KY3 with projects like Relay for Life, Day of Caring, and numerous walkathons and bikeathons.
A category of an F2 at this point.
Sometimes the cruel hand of nature leaves thousands needing help. In 1999, helping hands from the Ozarks reached for Oklahoma residents after deadly tornadoes ripped through that state. School kids donated coins and dollar bills. Local businesses donated thousands, and the total added up fast.
It could have been us very easily. We're just thankful that it wasn't, and we want to help those because maybe someday it'll be our turn and we're going to need their help.
No one knew then how true that would be. On May 4th, a deadly outbreak of tornadoes hit communities around the Ozarks. One day later, KY3 told viewers how they could help by donating money to the local Red Cross Disaster Fund. KY3 hosted a phone bank where people could offer donations. In just a few days, people of the Ozarks showed the true spirit of this area, stepping in to help their neighbors when they needed it most.
We're survivors, and we get up and we help each other and go on.
Making miracles, warming children and their hearts, getting a fresh start, honoring everyday heroes, helping when help is needed most. It's all part of a tradition of caring for the Ozarks that for 50 years has made KY3 the place to be because we care.
I love that shot of Christina.
It's so Christina, too. It's perfect. Well, it has been a very busy and rewarding 50 years, and we have all of your caring hearts to really thank for all the things that we have been able to do. And in the recent years, in fact, KY3 has contributed more than $1 million annually in public service announcements.
That's wonderful. So tonight, we want to thank you, everyone, for helping us help. We want to thank you for the last 50 years, and we just want you to know that it's been a pleasure, and KY3 is always so very glad to help. Now our celebration continues. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, from struggling to get on the air to being live everywhere, the magic that made it all work next.
I think what makes the people special at KY3 are the women. Because I love the women. We have a really good group of women who are strong and who are very supportive, very nurturing, very smart, and they're all hard workers.
I just got done traveling, so I can tell you that people in the Ozarks are much friendlier than the rest of the country. You hear it said a lot, but it's absolutely true. When you come back to the Ozarks, people are always willing to smile and say hi no matter where you are.